Valmiki Ramayana, Ayodhya Kanda, Book number 2, Sarga 23, Roman numerals XXIII, 23, LAKSHMAN'S anger. Thus Rama to his brother said, and Lakshman bent his drooping head. In turns by grief and pride impelled, a middle course of thought he held. Then in a frown of anger bent his brows that chief most excellent, and like a serpent in his hole, breathed fierce and fast in wrath of soul. His threatening brows so darkly frowned, his eyes so fiercely glanced around, they made his glare, which none might brook, like some infuriate lion's look, like some wild elephant, full oft he raised and shook his hand aloft. Now turned his neck to left and right, now bent, now raised its stately height. Now in his rage that sword he felt, which mangling wounds to foemen dealt. With sidelong glance his brother eyed, and thus in burning words replied. Thy rash resolve, thy eager haste, thy mighty fear are all misplaced. Nor room is here for duty's claim, nor cause to dread the people's blame. Can one as brave as thou consent to use a coward's argument? The glory of the warrior race, with craven speech his lips debase. Can one like thee so falsely speak, exalting fate confessed so weak? Canst thou, undoubting, still restrain suspicions of those sinful twain? Canst thou, most duteous, fail to know their hearts are set on duty's show? They with deceit have set their trains, and now the fruit rewards their pains. Had they not long ago agreed, O Rama, on this treacherous deed, that promised boon so long retained, he erst had given, and she had gained. I cannot, O my brother, bear to see another throned as heir, with rights which all our people hate. Then, oh, this passion tolerate. This vaunted duty which can guide thy steps from wisdom's path aside, and change the counsel of thy breast, O lofty-hearted, I detest. Wilt thou, when power and might are thine, submit to this abhorred design? Thy father's impious hast fulfilled, that vassal of Kaikeyi's will. But if thou still wilt shun thine eyes, nor see the guile herein that lies, my soul is sad, I deeply mourn, and duty seems a thing to scorn. Canst thou one moment think to please this pair who live for love and ease? And gainst thy peace as foes allied with tenderest names their hatred hide. Now if thy judgment still refers to fate this plot of his and hers, my mind herein can ne'er agree, and all in this be ruled by me. Weak, void of manly pride are they, who bend to fate's imputed sway. The choicest souls, the nobly great, disdain to bow their heads to fate. And he who dares his fate control with vigorous act and manly soul, though threatening fate his hopes assail, unmoved through all need never quail. This day mankind shall learn aright the power of fate and human might. So shall the gulf that lies between a man and fate be clearly seen. The might of fate subdued by me, this hour the citizens shall see, who saw its intervention stay thy consecrating rites today. My power shall turn this fate aside that threatens as with furious stride an elephant who scorns to feel in rage unchecked the drivers still. Not the great lords whose sleepless might protects the worlds shall stay the right. Though earth, hell, heaven combine their powers, and shall we fear this sire of ours, that if their minds are idly bent to doom thee, king, to banishment, through twice 7 years of exile they shall in lonely forest stay. I will consume the hopes that fire the Queen Kaikei and our sire, that to that to her son this check will bring advantage, making Bharat king. The power of fate will ne'er withstand the might that arms my vigorous hand. If danger and distress assail, my fearless strength will still prevail. 1,000 circling years shall flee, the forest then thy home shall be, and thy good sons succeeding hold the empire which their sire controlled. The royal saints of old who reigned for aged kings this rest ordained. These to their sons their realm commit, that they like sires may cherish it. O pious soul, if thou decline the empire which is justly thine, lest while the king distracted lies, disorder in the state should rise, I or no mention may I find in worlds to hero souls assigned. The guardian of thy realm will be, as the sea bank protects the sea. Then cast thine idle fears aside, with prosperous rites be sanctified. The lords of earth may strive in vain, my power shall all their force restrain. My pair of arms, my warrior's bow, are not for pride of empty show. For no support these shafts were made, and biting up ill suits my blade. To pierce the foe with deadly breach, this is the work of all and each. But small methinks the love I show, for him I count my mortal foe. Soon as my trenchant steel is bare, soon as my trenchant steel is bare, flashing its lightning through the air, I heed no foe, nor stand aghast, though Indra's self the levin cast. Then shall the way be hard to pass, where chariots lie in ruinous mass, when elephant and man and steed, crushed in murderous onslaught bleed, and legs and heads toll, heap on heap, beneath my sword's tremendous sweep, struck by my keen brand's trenched blade. Thine enemies shall fall dismayed, like towering mountains rent in twain, or lightning clouds that burst in rain. When armed with brace and glove I stand, and take my trusty bow in hand. When then shall vaunt his might, who then shall vaunt his might, who dare count him a man to meet me there? Then will I loose my shafts and strike man, elephant, and steed alike. At once shall many an arrow fly, and many a foe with one shall die. This day the world my power shall see, that none in arms can rival me. My strength the monarch shall abase, and set thee, Lord, in lordliest place. These arms which breathe the sandal's scent, which golden bracelets ornament, these hands which precious gifts bestow, which guard the friend and smite the foe, a nobler service shall essay, and fight in Rama's cause today. The robbers of thy rights to stay, speak, brother, tell thy foeman's name, whom I, in conquering strife, may strip of followers and fame. Of fortune or of life, say, how may all this sea-girt land be brought to own thy sway? Thy faithful servant, here I stand, to listen and obey. Then strove the bride of Raghu's race, said Lakshman's heart to cheer, while slowly down the hero's face, unchecked there rolled a tear. The orders of my sire, he cried, my will shall ne'er oppose. I follow still, whate'er betide, the path which duty shows. Wow. Absolutely beautiful. Footnotes. 121.1. The Sanskrit word hasta signifies both hand and the trunk of the beast that bears between his eyes a serpent for a hand. Hasta, Hastinapura. Hasta, Hastinapur, the ancient capital of India, of the whole planet Earth, Hastinapur. And Indians, unfortunately, being brainwashed, changed it into New Delhi, while Chinese kept their name, Singapore, the city of lions. To this day, they call it Singapore. Indians cannot even keep their culture. They have to change it into some silly British names. New Delhi. Like you go get a subway there. You go get a sandwich. Such a nonsense name. Stupid name. And the original Vedic culture is completely being lost due to this kind of renaming of ancient places. The original name of India's capital, of the capital of the whole world, was called Hastinapur. Hastinapur, the city of elephants. Anyway, this is a beautiful, amazing chapter where Lakshman is hell-bent to kill everybody who is opposed to Rama's coronation. Specifically, Lakshman was targeting Dasharatha and Kaikeyi. He was calling them the vile twain, going through second childhood. He was explaining to Rama that the so-called boons, whatever they were giving to each other, was so far in the past that to call those boons now, to summon those boons now is childish. So Lakshman was definitely about to kill everybody. This is the nature of Lakshman. He he said he's gonna kill his own father. But then, after all this beautiful description of the emotion of Lakshman, at the end, Rama, with conviction, told him what he is going to do. And ultimately, Lakshman should obey Rama. Laxman, Alexander the Great, Alex, Luke, Lakshman. Jai Ramayana ki jai, Roma Victor ki jai. Ciao.